because she came here with me. Peta! Oh my god! Not the baby! I can't. Oh, I can't. Hey there, y'all. So, I'm about to start reading a series that, funny enough, I have never ever read, and it is The Hunger Games. I have book one locked and loaded, ready to go. And you know, when you were a teen, at least like this is around my teen years, Hunger Games were all the hype, but I was a Divergent girly. Divergent was everything to me. I loved it. I loved the books. I enjoyed the first one, hate all of the other ones. Not the actors, I love them, but I hate how they changed the story. And I'm just no, I don't like how they changed the story. But I love them, and I remember crying at the end of the last book and everything. So yeah, I was a Divergent girly, I was a Shadowhunter girly, but I was not a Hunger Games girly. And even though I did watch the first movie, I never watched any of the other ones. I never followed through with the story. I just never got into it. I don't know why. I just didn't. And so this year I decided I was going to tackle this series because I have been having a little bit of FOMO ever since Sunrise and the Reaping came out. And so today's the day. Today is finally the day. I am going to start the first book. And honestly, it's already late at night. Y'all know, if you've been watching my vlogs, you know that I love to read or start a new book at night when I should technically be going to sleep. So we're going to start it today, and I'm super excited. I also decided to read this in the order that the books were published and not chronological order, because I think I'm going to be a lot more into the story if I do it this way. Plus, with the context that I already have from the movie, I will just keep anticipating getting into the Katniss side of the story. And I also think I won't connect with the other characters as much if I read them chronologically and not publishing order. So that's why I'm doing it this way. Let me know if you would advise the opposite. It'll be a little bit too late, but I'd love to understand if there's people actually reading this like chronologically or that would advise that, and why. Because in my head it makes more sense to do it publishing wise with the series. But so yeah, let's see how this goes. Yo, weren't Gale and Katniss in a relationship? I thought they were in an actual relationship. Like, I know Gale loves her, like in the book, right? But like, I thought they were in an actual relationship the entire time, and she cheated on him with Peta. Is that me? Am I remembering wrong? Mind you, it's been a while. Okay, I saw the movie basically when it came out, so I don't remember anymore. But like, I was under the impression they were dating, because I remember him being very betrayed by her when she basically like starts pretending to be in a relationship with Peta. Am I remembering wrong? Because I could have sworn that was the case. I guess I'm gonna find out, but like, I could have sworn in the movie they were in a relationship. Also, my first impression of this is like the writing itself is, not my favorite. I don't know. I didn't expect it to be first person. Did not. I don't know why, I just didn't expect it to be. And it isn't my favorite writing style, but also, I think it's also because I'm a 28-year-old woman, right? I'm not 14. And I do think if I were 14 maybe at the time, I would have enjoyed it a little bit more. Because it's kind of simplistic, but also like very like not show. Does that make sense? Like, there's like, for example, when they get selected as tribunes and stuff, and the speakers are speaking and presenting, we just get kind of a TLDR of what they're saying. We don't get to actually like hear, quote unquote, hear it directly from them or whatever. And also like the constant like going back to explain present experiences. Again, it's a lot of it's telling you what happened in the past and whatever, and not like a slow tell, or like, the story slowly tells you what happened, like fills in the blanks a little bit. So it's a choice that I don't love. I'm not hating it at all, okay? Just something I'm noticing, just a little tidbit that I am noticing. But yeah, so far so good. We're getting to the point where She's basically like going into the train to go into the capital, and that's where I'm at. I didn't read much yesterday, so I'm very much still in the beginning, and I'm very excited to keep reading. I am just very much chilling at home. It was a rough week, and I'm very sleepy, and so I don't know if I won't fall asleep, to be fair, but I am enjoying myself so far, so that's what matters. Because she came here with me. Pira! Oh my god! I didn't think he was gonna say it, not out loud. What the fuck? Oh my god! She can't turn you down then, hey? I don't think it's going to work out. Winning won't help in my place. Why ever not? Because she came here with me. Next part? Part 2, the games. What do you mean? Pira! I completely forgot about this. Like, I knew he had a crush on her. Like, that is very obvious. But, like, I have my retainer on, so I sound very weird. So sorry. Not gonna take it off. Then I can see my face, mouth half open, in a mix of surprise and protest, magnified on every screen as I realize me, he means me. Oh, that is a piece of bad luck. There's a real edge of pain in his voice. The crowd is murmuring in agreement. A few have even given agonized cries. It's not good, agrees Peter. Bitch! Come on. They're basically fighting. And she's like, you embarrassed me. And then he's like, what the fuck? Whatever. Like, at least you aren't the one that said you loved me. Like, you're not the one that just poured out your heart, bitch, and is getting it heartbroken right now. And, like, knew that he was going to be rejected, yet still had to pour his heart out. I'm on part 3. Okay, it is the equivalent to 66% of the way through the book. And it's been an experience. And I don't even know exactly what to say, to be honest with you, because I keep reliving the movie in my head while I'm reading this, and none of the information that is in this book is actually that new to me, to be fair. It's all things that I have kind of expected to happen, because again, I've seen the movie, and the movie is actually pretty accurate, at least again what I remember. It's been a while. What I will say is that I don't remember realizing how much Katniss truly struggled, especially in the first few days. And I completely forgot that Peter was a backstabbing bitch at first. Like, he joined the careers and was like part of their posse. I don't know. I completely forgot about this, right? Another thing I don't really recall is like how Rue and Katniss basically spent like what, a day of being allies, basically. Like, it was one night, and I guess like, yeah, just a little bit more. I honestly thought it had been longer. I thought it had been at least a couple of days, but apparently not. That's actually quite surprising to me. I do understand that this is like her correlating Rue to Prim, and she also admits that in the book, but I honestly thought it was longer. Her death was, sad, but I already knew it was coming. I was very much prepared for it, right? I did think that the whole, like, her holding up her hand with the fingers and whatever was more intentional as, like, a fuck you to the Capitol. It was more as a goodbye to Rue. I knew it was in her honor, but also, like, a fuck you to the Capitol, but I didn't realize it was just to say goodbye to her. It wasn't, like, a power play of any kind, that the flowers were the power play, but not the whole three-finger thing. Not the hand gesture. So that was interesting to realize. And now, like, at the point that I just stopped reading, as we reach part 3, they announced that if the contestants are from the same district, that they could win together. And if I'm not mistaken, the only 2 ones that are left are Peeta and Katniss. And I guess this is like their attempt as like joining Peeta and Katniss together, since Katniss doesn't seem to give a shit about Peeta. And I think Peeta is dying because he was hurt, and I think he's gonna be hurt, if I remember correctly from the movie. But yeah, so I'm at that point. I'm very curious to see what happens next, but like again, like I already kind of know what the story is with this book, at least if it follows and continues to follow the books, which to be fair, at least at the time that these books were coming out and everything, the first movie was usually like very close to the original like content, to the original book. And then later that's when typically these types of movie adaptations would like separate from the actual origin story. At least that's what happened with Divergent, for example. So I'm curious to see if it will happen in this as well, if that's the same thing that will happen in this. Tomorrow I'll finish this and start the next one, and yeah. Hey y'all, I finished the book last night. Let me give you my thoughts on it. First impressions was what I shared with you guys already, where I wasn't expecting it to be first person POV, and I also wasn't expecting the writing to be as simple as it was. But to be fair, this is a very like YA back in the day book. It's not like YA today that is technically not YA. This is actually YA. So I understand that, not taking that into like too much of a consideration here. But I was surprised by it. Okay, those were like my first thoughts. And then while I was reading the last part of the book, honestly, I was a bit surprised. So, like, the storyline follows what I already knew was going to follow because it does follow the logic of the book. So, a lot of the things weren't really surprising to me. What happened to Rue and what happened to a lot of the other characters, I knew what they were going to pull off on at the end. I knew a lot of those things. Like, I kind of knew where this was going to go. But the one thing we don't see in the movie is what's going on inside of Katniss's head. And I think that is the most surprising thing for me in this whole thing, was realizing how much she was not into Peeta. Okay, because hear me out. I know, as we all knew, that she was not in love with Peeta, while Peeta was absolutely head over heels for her, has always loved her from afar, his entire life. I thought during the movie, that she eventually fell in love with him. As time went on, she genuinely fell in love with him and was really in love with him. But then when she got back home and there was Gale waiting for her, that like, uh-oh, what do I do now? Right? And the book is kind of like that, but not really, because that's when we realize the entire thing during the games, the entire like her kissing him or her taking care of him, was her playing the games to be the lovey-dovey couple so that they could get the sponsors to send them things like medicine, food, and whatnot. And she was playing the game the entire time. And I wasn't aware that it was the entire time, right? Like, I wasn't aware the extent of it, because she literally is just playing it off, and she thinks he's playing it off as well, and only after Haymitch tells her, yeah, I don't actually have to give him any tips, does she start to think, maybe he's not actually playing a game, maybe he's truly in love with me, but that's not possible, right? She just gaslights herself into not believing it. He was being 100% genuine. He thought she was falling in love with him, and she just broke his heart. And I kind of knew like she was not the same page, but I didn't think it was that much. And so I felt so bad for Peeta. So bad. So bad for him. Honestly, so bad for him. Because he was the entire time, he was genuinely taking care of her because he loved her. And he was sacrificing himself for her the entire time. Granted, by the end of the book, she is starting to fall in love with him. I don't think she realizes what she's feeling. I don't think she realizes like that what she is feeling is love, because she has some kind of aversion to the feeling of love. It's nothing compared to him. It's nothing compared to like how he feels for her. And that is very sad. I am very, very excited to get into the next one, because I want to know what the dynamic with Gale is going to be. And I want to know how it's going to be when they're back home. But I also know that this is when things kind of like shit hits the fan. If I'm not mistaken, this is when she starts to like get into contact with the revolution, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm really interested to seeing where this is gonna go. I barely know nothing of what happens next. Okay, I know she's in the revolution because I remember seeing a little bit of a scene where she's like being taken in like an aircraft, but like I don't remember. Like I know nothing of what happens here. I am 100% spoiler free here. Like, I have no idea what's going to happen. And it's very rare for you to get to this point in life without knowing what happens in the Hunger Games. So I'm very excited to seeing what happens next. Very excited to get into the next book. And that is exactly what I'm going to be doing now. So yeah, I don't know my rating. My rating is probably like 4 stars. Yeah, I think it's gonna be 4 stars. Snow is at her house. What the fuck? What do you mean? What is he doing there? All those cousins, which, by the way, making Gail a cousin, disgusting, so bad. Also because, like, movie wise, I was Team Gail. Like, I thought Gail was a lot cuter than Peeta, to be fair. Sorry, not sorry, but making Gail a cousin. They killed the game maker that allowed them to live? What the fuck? It must be very fragile if a handful of berries can bring it down. Girl! Y'all, I don't even know. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to think. Like, I'm in chapter 9. I'm 31% through the book. And what the fuck is going on? I had to stop literally because I don't know if you can see that how flushed I am. Like, I'm overheating. I need a break. I'm literally overheating. What the hell? What the hell? So last time we left off, right? She was about, like, Katniss and Peeta were about to head off to into their little tour of victory or whatever. And turns out, like, there's some, like, some people fighting back. There's some rebellion and stuff, but they're like, especially Katniss is really, really trying to make things work. And then Peeta joins in, and like they're really trying to sell the whole thing that they're in love. There's no rebellion. They're not against anyone. Like, they're really trying to sell the thing. They get engaged. There's this wedding planned. This whole thing. In the meantime, she's like hating her life back home. She's very sad that her situation with Gale is not happening, and Gale is like not having it when she comes back with the whole marriage proposal thing. Like, no. Either way, she finds out there's actual revolution. There's actual people like fighting and stuff. And she talks to Gale like, let's run away together, whatever. And when he finds out that the together is not just him and her, it's him, her, Peeta, and Haymitch and everyone, he's like, fuck you. There's this revolution. I want to join in on the fun. I want to go against the capital. And he leaves. He leaves and gets captured for hunting and gets flayed alive, basically. He gets whipped 40 times. 40. And she has to put herself in the way to prevent him from getting even more whippings, and everyone intervenes. Even the peacekeepers intervene to try and help him. Haymitch even fucking Peeta intervenes, okay? What the fuck? And in that moment, when she's looking at him and he's like in pain and whatever, one, she decides to fight back. Two, she realizes she's actually in love with Gale because he's her everything and she can't imagine her life without him. I didn't know this was the case, mind you. I've been Team Gale since I watched the fucking movie for no other reason than he was the original, he was cuter, I liked him better. I don't know why, right? And this still doesn't make me happy because now I pity Peeta because Peeta has been there, Peeta has fought for her, Peeta has sacrificed for her, Peeta was ready to die for her, and Gale isn't even willing to run for her. I don't know how I feel anymore about these two people, but like I thought she ended up with Peeta in the end. I genuinely thought that the series would end with both of them together. What if it doesn't? It didn't even cross my mind. What if it doesn't? Don't get me wrong, I'm loving it. We're 30% into this book and I am devouring this book. I didn't even notice that we were 30% into the way until I took this break, right? Sidebar. What do you mean Peeta paints? Not only paints, he paints the horrors of the games. What the fuck? I was not expecting that. I don't know why I wasn't expecting it. It makes sense. But like, I don't know why I wasn't expecting that. I was just like, you have a car, like a train car, full of your paintings. Good coping mechanism, but still, good outlet, But like, damn. Peeta is killing me. Not the baby. Oh my god. I'm dying. What the fuck, Peeta? Where is he getting these things? Oh my god, like... If it weren't for the baby... The drama this man is cooking up. The way he's playing them is insane. I'm loving this. I can't. This is insane. What is this man doing? Okay, y'all. I just reached part 3. I'm at 67% through Catching Fire. Okay. And I I don't even know where to begin. This book. Oh my god. I started reading it and I couldn't stop until now. And the only reason I'm stopping right now, it's because it's close to 3 in the morning and I need to go to work tomorrow. So I need to stop. I need to stop right now. But let's chit chat a little bit about it because God, I have so much in my head right now. The fact that so many districts are revolting against them, so many are actually starting to revolt. I love that. But I also like don't see a hope for District 12. Like how are they going to fight back? Like it seems almost impossible, right? Another thing is like how are they like pulling this like second Hunger Game off with all of the previous winners? Like this is such a stupid move because if the capital and the people love their winners, then you're putting them against you. You're shooting yourself in the foot. I'm glad for it because it's fucking deserved, but like, you know, it's stupid, but at the same time so ingenious because it resolves his issue with Katniss and Peeta so fast. This way Snow can get away with like them dying and it's done and he doesn't have to worry about it, right? It's the perfect solution for him. But he is shooting himself on the foot, and that is great, amazing. I love that for our characters. Okay, I also love that Peeta is growing a pair. I also love that Katniss herself is growing a pair because this bitch apparently didn't have a pair to find. Okay, like she was just scaredy cat. Okay, like didn't make any logical sense. I was just like, I thought Katniss was, you know, more of a fire starter than this. But this kind of makes sense because we're seeing her become that person, right? Like, I just needed to have a little patience. My bad. Okay. And even the other players, right? Like, initially I was like, how are these people so okay with this? They've had so many, like, secure lives. Like, they can't possibly be okay with this. But they were all chilling, all relaxing, all socializing and chit chatting and having the time of their lives. And just didn't make sense to me. And now when we saw them like go up into the last interview right before they go into the arena, and every single one of them expressed how unfair it was. How is it possible? How is Snow also mighty and powerful yet he can't stop this from happening? How are his hands tied? Like how they were all subtly fighting against it, and also how like in the end they all held hands. Perfect. Absolute perfection. So good. So good. And now like part 2 ends with like Senna being arrested and beaten up. And obviously that made all the sense. We already knew that was going to happen after the Mockingjay like dress, obviously. And the fact that Snow waited until the last moment so that Katniss would have to watch that happen and walk into the arena completely distraught, disheveled, completely lost. It's so cruel, dude. It's so cruel. Like, what the hell? Peeta, he's a he's so fucking smart. I love him so much. He's so fucking smart. Like, what do you mean? He's like, oh my god, yeah, we actually got married. Kind of. We exchanged vows between each other, you know. You know? It's like, oh yeah, it's so sorry. Like, you know, going into the games, you probably didn't expect this, that stuff. Like, yeah. And the baby. I can't. The baby killed me. Like, it just, I can't, bitch. I can't. Like, that was hilarious. Okay, hilarious. I find that so fucking funny. So fucking funny. This man really knows how to put on a show. He put it on thick, bitch. So good. So good. And I'm beating myself over not having read this earlier because god damn it. This series is so good. Oh my god. We really Girl, we really like, I feel like these books are small, mind you, also. Like, they're pretty small. And I feel like I've read so much. I feel like so much has happened already. Like, I can't believe we still have the whole arena part to go through in just 40%. It doesn't make logical sense to me. How is this, like, we still have the arena to go, and I feel like so much has happened. I did suspect from the start that, like, District 13 was going to be relevant because, come on, it just died out. I don't know if it's really, like, where the rebellion is setting up. I don't think it is, to be honest with you. What I do think is that it is the site for where they're doing their experiments with the mutations and everything. I think that is where they're, like, turning these people into these animal humanoid things, weird things. That's what I think it is. I don't think it's where the rebellion is. I don't. It's too far away. It's too far away, too far removed. Plus, like, I don't know. I feel like the capital would be aware of it. I could go on and on. I could, but it is late. I'm not gonna go on and on. I will finish this tomorrow. I will. Fuck. I will finish this tomorrow. Anyways, I'll see y'all tomorrow. So I lied last night. I'm sorry, but I had to finish the book last night, so I did. I ended up reading well late into the night and finishing up the book because I couldn't go to bed without knowing what happened next. It was a lot, but I realized I had seen that last part of the second movie. So I think I saw the part where Katniss gets pulled out from the games into a helicopter plane type thing, and then her waking up and going into this room where people are gathered around a table and she's asking about Peeta. This was an image I had in my head, and I think it's from this book. So yeah, that's what I was remembering earlier when I mentioned, like, I just remember her getting into, like, a helicopter plane thing. That was it. Basically, Haymitch was like, hey, you have to, like, gather around with these people and, like, join forces with these people, and making them have to join forces with them. Like, he went behind their backs. You could tell also that they were hiding something from them. Initially I thought, well, maybe, like, they're all like, oh, protect Peeta because she agreed to that with him. But I was like, no, this doesn't make sense, because I know she's the main thing, right? She is also all the time trying to make it very clear that, like, she might have instigated the revolution, but Peeta would be the one that would, like, be best suited for this job. He would be the one that could actually, like, make people gather around and, like, fight for it. She just was kind of the spark, right? This is how she sees herself. And I'm like, no, but that's not true, though. That is not the reality. That's not how the people see you. So, like, it didn't make sense to me that they would be protecting Peeta just because. So I couldn't figure out why they were protecting him, and I guess it was to make sure that she would stay alive. Like, okay, but then you let him get captured? What the fuck? Also, the fact that Haymitch knew about the 13th, is it the testing facilities I thought it was, or is it really part of the revolution? And if it is, why? Why would the capital leave them be? Why would the capital allow that to even happen? Also, oh my god, I just remembered the way the book ended. What do you mean, Gail? What do you mean? What do you mean District 12 does not exist anymore? Where did it go? I didn't know this happened. I didn't know this happened. I thought, like, they just, her friends and family got away from it, but, like, I didn't think it would cease to exist. What do you mean it stopped existing? Where is it? What? They bombed it to hell? What the hell happened? And how is this, like, in Snow's head? How is he justifying this? Because it does not make sense to me in my little pea brain. I still can't understand who she's going to pick between Gale and Peeta. And mind you, I know this is very, like, secondary to the main story, but it's still part of the story, okay? So don't come for me for, like, hyperfixating on this, on who she's choosing, because she keeps confusing me, because she gaslights herself. I think she's choosing Peeta. In the end, she's gonna choose Peeta, because no matter what happens with Gale, like, her and Peeta have experienced something that Gale can't even start to comprehend. Also, the way she, like, looks for shelter and care and, like, a safe space in Peeta, she doesn't do that with Gale. And, I think she loves Gale in the sense of, like, she'll always love him. I think he's more of, like, I wouldn't say a sibling, but, like, I think he's, like, truly her best friend, and she cannot see her life without him. And I think she's mixing up being her best friend versus, like, being in love with him. because she can't even think of like not having him in her life. I gotta say, Peeta, my man Peeta has moves, okay? Because he's like, oh yeah, you're my only reason to live. And they just tag along. And then they're like, you know damn well that the only reason I'm here is you. And that's it. Oh, if you die, there's nothing left for me. Like, nothing in my life would make sense without you. Like, I cannot live without you. And they just move along. He's like constantly dropping bombshells. And they just continue moving along. Like, it's nothing. And mind you, they are beautiful things. He's saying like beautiful things to this woman, and she's like, oh yeah, okay. This story is sucking me into that. Also, I give it 5 stars. So I give the first one 4 stars for now. I give the second one 5 stars for now as well, which is very rare for me to give a book 5 stars, but I was just so enraptured by it. Like, I feel like it's wrong to give it anything less than 5 stars. Going into Mockingjay, wish me luck, because I don't know if I'm ready for the story to end, like this main trilogy to end. Okay, y'all, I'm making something to eat, and I figured why not give you guys an update in the meantime. So I locked in. For the first time in a really long time, I have been able to lock in to a book, which is, it's insane that this is a series that, like, after all these years, I would realize, like, I needed to have read a long time ago. So basically, I'm at 50%. 50% decided to take a break to make something to eat because I haven't eaten in a while, and also to process, because there's a lot to process in this book. So basically, Katniss is in District 13. The rebel faction is there. It is indeed a stronghold for like the people that survived the ending of District 13. They've had nuclear powers all along, and that has helped gain them some immunity against the rest of the capital, because, you know, they can blast them off into smithereens, basically. And so that has been keeping them safe, and now they're, you know, joining forces with the rebels to try and, like, defeat the capital once and for all. I don't like them. I don't think that their reasoning is pure, as one might assume. And so I really don't trust them. I don't like them. I find it funny how they're fighting the capital but using capital means, you know? I understand that you need some propaganda and to also entice the other, you know, districts, but like it feels a lot like they're just, you know, putting on a different show, but it's still a show. It's still the same thing. Thank fuck Haymitch intervenes and prevents them from doing a complete capital rerun of the thing, but like it's still very much capital. It doesn't change, and I was hoping that like the way it would go about, like the way the Mockingjay would go about, would be a bit more original, not just the same but slightly different. She's supposed to be the Mockingjay and the leader of the revolution, yet she's not leading anything. She's just their puppet. She's just their front page person, you know? She's just the face of the revolution. She's not really doing anything. She's not trying to fight for it. She's not trying to command anyone. She's not trying to take up space at all. And that kind of sucks. I thought it was going to be more of a present role once she decided to intervene. But no, like, they're being attacked and higher-ups are higher-upping, and she's just hunkering it down with everyone else. And I get she's young and the higher-ups are old and whatever, but I think she should have, like, tried to be more present in those moments, you know? Not just another pawn. Not just the face in the front page of the magazine, basically, you know? It just, I don't know. I hope for something different, I guess. When it comes to Peeta, he's finally been recaptured, and they saved him, basically saying, like, yeah, no, now he's worth something because you will not do anything without him being safe. So in exchange for your cooperation, we're willing to actually save him and other people that have been, like, imprisoned this entire time. Before that, he was worthless to us. It's just so painful to see him in that way, you know? I understand it's just a reality of how things are, and I think if this wasn't happening to him, like, it would be a very unrealistic situation. Like, what do you mean you have someone hostage yet you don't torture them? It had to happen. And, you know, the type of, like, psychological games that Snow likes, it just makes sense that this would be his approach. But it's still horrible to see him go through that. Yeah. It also doesn't help that, like, on the other side you have Gale. And I hate the motherfucker. How did this go from me liking him to me absolutely hating him? He's an extremist at this point, right? Because, like, he's very much like, fuck them all. No exceptions to the rule. no one can be recuperated from all this. They all suck. It makes sense because he is the character that suffers, right? He's a typical person that's like from the towns and works in the mines and hears talk of shop and all, like, you know what I mean? He's becoming very like trigger happy basically, and she's not really loving that. She's not really liking that. It sucks to see, honestly. It just does, and to see the relationship like devolve, and also as she slowly realizes that like he's going on to the extreme side and he doesn't view the world like you do and like Peter does, and it just won't work. He's just pushing it, kissing her just to test it out, messing around with her feelings. Like, I get it, he's also butthurt and stuff, but he's just, I don't know, dude. It's giving me the ick. It's really giving me the ick, and it's I don't like him anymore. I also want to see what's gonna happen after this whole thing, after they win the whole thing, right? Like, I don't believe that the rulers of District 13 are better than the capital. I honestly think they're basically the same thing, just more controlling. I think the way their like society just functions is very like unhealthy, which is supposed to be very unhealthy because they were survival mode all these years, but it's just a bit yucky to me. And I don't think they're going to give up power. I think they're just trying to like take over. But yeah, that's my update. I've already prolonged myself quite a bit. I'm gonna keep reading and just see where this takes us. Okay, y'all, this is not a drill. Peter has asked to see her. Oh my god, I have no idea how this is gonna go. Okay, we're gonna read this together. Okay, we're gonna go over this together. What? You're not very big, are you? Or particularly pretty? What the fuck? Of course, he answers, well, you've looked better. I must have loved you a lot. No, stop. I can't. I can't. If this book makes me cry, I'm gonna be so pissed. If this book makes me cry, I must have loved you a lot. You did. He doesn't remember loving her. He doesn't. I don't think complete memory loss was something I expected. Fucking hell. Like, what the fuck? Now they don't want to let her go into the capital because she hasn't been playing soldier. I hate these people. I hate the 13. I hate them. I hate this. Deli is this like girl from 12, and she's been helping work with Peta, so Peta like remembers Katniss, and like she has more influence on him than any of the others do because he really does know her. It does also say that she defends Katniss with tooth and nail, to be fair, but I don't know, it just bothers me so bad. Like, the fuck? Peter just showed up out of nowhere? What the fuck? I'm at 89%. Her sister has died. She has been completely burned and is still kind of drug-addled. Peter is also burned somewhere. Finnick died. Gale, I don't give a shit about. And Snow is literally telling her he didn't kill her sister. He wasn't the one that released the parachutes. Which part of me kind of thought about that because it didn't make sense. If he was using the children as human shields, why would he kill them? Gale and Beatty. First bomb killed the victims, the second the rescuers. It's literally the same thing they did. Snow agrees with me, basically. Like, the bitch, the president of 13 wants his place and has been fighting for his place the entire time. Wait, what do you mean? It was 13 that started the rebellion that led to the Dark Days and then abandoned the rest of the districts when the tide turned against them. I finished the book. I don't even know what to say. I feel so empty inside. I'm really finding the urge not to cry, and I don't just... What in the fucking hell was this? I hate all of it. I hate all of it. I hate the entirety of the ending. I hate that it made no sense that they kept trying to get to the center to Snow when the capital was obviously overrun and they were done. I hate that Finnick died and left the child behind. Finnick, who so deserved that ending, that happy ending. I hate that Prim died. That was the stupidest thing. Katniss got burnt. And it's not really explained, but I bet she held on to her sister and that's what she got burned. Peeta got burned as well. The fact that the bitch wanted to apply another Hunger Games. The bitch. The fact that after all the chicks sacrificed, they still didn't have a place for her. Didn't know what to do with her. Her mom left. That bitch-ass woman that did nothing. The entire thing. The entire series. I didn't see her be a mother once. Not even in the end. When her eldest daughter needed her the most. When her eldest daughter that sacrificed the most for her and for Prim and for their survival needed her the most. When she lost the most important person in her life. How Peeta never regained his memories. They just made new ones. And you'd think that's beautiful, but that just sucks ass. That we don't get to see him come back. That she ended up having children after all. Fucking hell. And again, you think that's beautiful, but I don't like it. I don't like the fact that it's framed as her doing it like, oh, but Peeta wanted them so much. And after 15 years, he convinced me. And I hate most of all. Prim won't get to know them. They won't get to know Prim. What in the God's green earth was this, dude? I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Hey there, guys. It is the next day. I've had a little bit of time to process, and I wanted to sit down and let you know what I think about the main trilogy and how I feel about the last book and all of it in general. First, I want to say something that I'm not sure I made very clear, okay? I despise Gale. I really do. He started giving me the ick during the second book. Towards the end of the second and during the third, he just gave me the biggest ick. I couldn't stand him. He was very extreme in his views, and he was a ticking time bomb, basically, and he had no humanity, nothing, right? He wanted to defeat Snow by becoming Snow, which is not the right logic, and I don't think it would be the right logic to pair up with Katniss at all. On the other hand, Peeta was always leading with his heart, and he was always compassionate, and even at the end, even when he didn't even fully remember who he was, he didn't fully remember the experience of the games, he still had a lot of memories that were not there, he still kept his heart, even throughout all of that, right? That is a very stark contrast between both. The other thing about Gale is, like, he kept pushing himself on her. So once Peeta realized that Katniss didn't really, feel the same way about him, he got hurt, right? But beginning of the second book, they make their peace, and he respects her. He takes his distance. He comforts her how she needs. He takes a step back when she needs her to take a step back. Like, she knows that he loves him, and the small little words of love and like declarations of love he gives Katniss throughout the books are very like nonchalant, very simple. They're beautiful, but they're very simple, very nonchalant. She knows as like for a fact that he loves her, and He just doesn't hide it anymore. She knows, everyone knows, it's a fact, it's okay. You don't have to love me back, you don't have to reciprocate. We're okay, it's fine. But I'm not gonna hide the fact that I love you, and that's it. Gail, on the other hand, is constantly waiting for her to choose him, constantly like almost forcing himself on her, like, oh, you're still choosing him, fine, whatever. It's like, it's him or me. It's like, Gail is like, choose me, choose me, choose me, choose me, choose me, choose me. Like, why haven't you chosen me? I hate that. I also hate the fact that he keeps information from her, and he like uses the kissing as like, the kissing are only for him, mind you. Like, even when she kisses him, he makes it about himself. He's a pity party all for himself. Like, it's just, I don't know. Like, it gave me the ick so bad. Like, I didn't like him. I also didn't like the fact that he was like constantly pushing her apart. He was like not giving a shit about her. So, and she was still fighting to like to love him that way. And I felt like she was constant, and also I felt like she was constantly gaslighting herself into not loving Peter, and she was always trying to convince herself that she loved Gail. So like the entire time from book one, right? So it, yeah, I don't know why I ever thought that Gail would even be a remote option, because it's always going to be Peter. um and it makes complete sense because Gale sucks. I don't like him. I don't like, after what he did with the mountain as well, like, yuck. That aside, I cannot even begin to explain to you how much I didn't like the ending, because it's not what I hoped for Katniss and Peeta. I think they deserved so much more. Like, the fact that they, first of all, Prim dying is gut-wrenching. It's disgusting. It's terrible. It's so bad. I hated it so much, because like, poor Prim deserved better, Katniss deserved better, and now like Katniss has children that will never get to meet their Aunt Prim, you know? Peter has no one. Peter lost his entire family. Every single one of them. It's just, there's nothing left, and it sucks, you know? It sucks that Katniss had to lose the same. It really does. Also, the fact that like, now that Katniss has served as a little poster girl and has served her objective, they don't know what to do with her. She literally prevented you from having another Snow, but female version, and like, you don't know what to do with her? Come on, dude. Like, you don't know what to do with both of them? Like, that, it doesn't make sense to me, you know? And there goes Gale, happily ever after, living his life as this whole general dude, and like, really? Fuck off. I also didn't expect them to want a very exciting life, because they had really exciting, like, last years of their teenage years, you know? Like, they don't need more. They deserve a quiet, relaxing life, just chill, do their own thing, live in peace. They deserve that, so I'm not against it, but just feels so bad that like the society was pretty glad to use them, and now I don't know what to do with you. Fuck off. Fuck them. Another thing, and this, I understand not a lot of people will agree with me. Like, I do feel like you're either in the same boat as me or completely opposite. I didn't like the ending with the children for multiple reasons. First, she always said she didn't want kids. She didn't want to get married. She didn't want kids. Marriage, I understand her changing her mind, because, you know, you might. But with children, she was very adamant. And I know it was very much related to the games and everything, and she wasn't going to raise them in poverty and everything. But when that changed, right? When that whole thing of like, I don't want to have kids anymore, I don't want to have kids because of this, changed in her brain, I wanted it to happen because she wanted it, right? Because she came to terms with it, because she started to picture it, she started to be curious about it, she started to want it, and then she decided to have them, and they both decided to have them. Instead, what we hear is like, he was trying to convince her for 15 years before she finally said, okay, fine. And only when she finally held her child in her hand, in her arms, did she truly fell in love with it, and, you know, didn't regret it after that, right? But you can tell, like, she was having the kids for Peeta, not for herself. And I wanted to see her deciding that for herself, and not because she was pressured by him. Even if he probably knew she was going to be an amazing mom and whatever, it doesn't fucking matter. I wanted to see from her side, because I wanted her to, like, you know, take her time to process her feelings and process her trauma, but also come to terms with it and be like, you know what, Peeta always wanted kids, but, you know, he's not pushy or anything, but he wanted kids. And, you know, I'm starting to feel like that. I'm starting to, you know, it took me time. It took me 5, 10, 15 years to finally come to terms with what happened to me, or to finally realize that, you know, I really want a life with Peter. I really want a family with Peter, and we decided to try. It happened right away, and I was iffy. I was scared for a minute there. I had anxiety about whatever it was, and then I held my baby in my arms, and I was 100% sure I made the right decision. I would have been so okay with that. That would be perfect. But no, it was like, oh, he pushed and pushed and pushed, and after 15 years, I find it just. I understand why it took her so long. She was dealing with her trauma, very fair. Even if Peter was pushing that, she would still have made the decision for herself as well. That her wanting the kids was also part of it. And she's just like, yeah, he pushed, and then I didn't love that part about it. I didn't. I will say, I loved the ending, the last paragraph where she says, like, it was never going to be Gale because he was fire and I was fire too. And I needed, I need someone to ground me. I needed calm. Was it a dandelion, right? She needed someone to stabilize her, to give her, security and safety. And that was Peeta. It was always going to be Peeta. And that is beautiful. And yeah, I guess that's my kind of recap on the last book. The series itself, right now, I rated the first one 4 stars, the second 5, and the third 4.5. I wished she had a more prevalent role to play in the revolution itself. But I also understand, she was 17-year-old. She wasn't taking that seriously. She was just supposed to, give cause to what the adults were doing. She was basically being manipulated by a different faction, right? She was manipulated by society, manipulated by Snow, then manipulated by that faction, and she maneuvered it to the best of her abilities. She was a 17-year-old. She went through so many traumatic experiences. She kept going through them over and over again. So, I understand. It took me a while to come to terms with that, but I do understand, and I do see that was the role she was supposed to play. She wasn't supposed to be the main thing. I didn't expect to like this as much as I did. I regret not reading this such a long time ago, because Hunger Games they weren't my thing. I didn't love the movies as much. I didn't feel the chemistry between Katniss and Peeta. And I guess I don't know, I just, but the book's completely different. I've been sucked in, I am exhausted. I don't think you understand. I've had a really, really rough week, and on top of that, staying up late almost every single day, reading these books because I could not put them down. I understand that the next book is going to be Snow. I'm not really excited for his book, to be honest. I'm super excited for Haymitch's book, but I'm gonna do it chronologically. It just makes more sense. And I know that I'm gonna need it to maybe piece a few things together in Haymitch's book. So I'm gonna start with Snow's book. Motherfucker, he wants you to live. What the fuck?